Hey everyone, it's Steve here from theemotionmachine.com, and today I want to talk a little bit about how we change a lot more than we think we do. And what sparked this was a new study that I saw about a couple months ago, and I've been meaning to talk about it, so I'm happy that I'm finally able to talk about it. As you guys know, I'm always trying to follow new research and new studies in psychology, just because I want to try to provide information that's as helpful and accurate as possible. So this study was published last year, 2016, in the journal Psychology and Aging. And what they did was they measured 6 different personality traits back in 1947. They found 1,000 participants, and they measured traits such as self-confidence, perseverance, stability of moods, conscientiousness, originality, and desire to excel. So those were the 6 traits that they measured. And they followed up on this study about 60 plus years later. They found 100 people of the original 1,000 that took the survey and got them to take the survey again and see what they scored on these personality traits. So, and what they found was there was no correlation whatsoever between how these people measured on these personality traits when they were 14 years old to how they measured on these personality traits when they were 77 years old. So when I first found out about these results, I wasn't too surprised, but I did find them very interesting and encouraging, because I think that people often change a lot more than they think they do, especially over the course of their whole life. And this is a very important perspective for me, because I always try to imagine myself as dynamic and not fixed. I think that a lot of people usually see themselves as a fixed person with a fixed personality and a fixed identity, and they think that there's not really that much room to change, and they just feel that this is just who I am. This is just who I am. I'm always going to be this way, and I'm never going to change. But this study was pretty good empirical evidence that people really do change over time. And I think that, especially day to day or week to week, we feel like, we're just the same person every day, because the ways we change are usually very small and subtle, unless there's some sort of big life-changing event that changes us. But oftentimes, people change in small ways, and they change gradually, and it's really not until you look back on yourself 10, 20, 30, 50 years later that you actually realize how much you have changed over time. So it's good to think of yourself as dynamic and changing rather than static and fixed. And I think that you're going to change anyway. The simple truth is that you're going to change whether you try to or not, because that's just sort of the nature of being a human being, and the fact that we adapt to new experiences, we learn new things, and our personality changes in various ways depending on our experiences and our environment and the relationships we have. And all of these things feed into yourself and change your identity, change who you are, and can over time drastically change the type of person that you are. And I think this is a very important perspective for any type of self-improvement. I know that before I got into self-improvement, I did think of myself as mostly fixed and static, and this is just who I am, right? That's the common mantra of people who have that fixed identity, is that this is just who I am, there's no point in trying to change it. But the simple truth is, you're going to change no matter what, because that's just sort of the nature of reality, is changing and impermanent. So realizing that in yourself is a good insight. And the second insight that you can get from this is that it's not just that you're going to change, but that you also have some control over the ways that you change. You can choose, what type of experiences you have, what type of hobbies you pursue or interests you pursue. what your habits are, and over time those are really going to change who you are and how you think about yourself. So this study is a great reminder that we are changing beings, and I often ask people as sort of a thought experiment to think of who you were 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. That's probably significantly different than who you are today. And now think of yourself today and who you will be 5 years from now, 10 years into the future, 20 years into the future, 50 years into the future. And that's also going to be a significantly different person. So what you are right now is not who you are completely. This is not just who you are. You've changed before, you're going to change again, and it's important to remind yourself that you are a dynamic person and that change is possible and that you actually have some control over the ways that you change. And this is a fundamental belief to any type of self-improvement. If you don't believe this, then you're not going to try to find ways to change. You're not going to encourage that change and try to direct where that change goes. You're just going to sort of accept who you are and let whatever happens to you happen to you. So yeah, I just wanted to leave that one last reminder. You are a dynamic person, and you will change, and this is fundamental to any type of self-improvement. So thanks for listening to me. That's all I really wanted to share for now. Very interesting study, very encouraging, and something that's good to remind yourself as you pursue any type of self-improvement that you want to pursue. Have a good one, guys.